Hi, welcome to Sexy is Timeless Talk. I am Luisa Diaz, author of Sexy is Timeless and founder of the Luisa Diaz Foundation, which is a celebration of kindness, coming to you from Manhattan, New York. Our guest today, I am so excited because our guest today is Patricia Napier-Fitzpatrick, the founder and president of the Etiquette School of New York. Welcome, Patricia. Now let me introduce to you my fabulous friends and co-hosts.
Hello, everybody. I'm Samantha Pseudo-Drucker. I'm your lifestyle genie and host of Love and Design Project, coming to you from a very windy tropical storm hurricane watch, Hollywood Beach, Florida. That's today's weather segment.
Hi, I'm Delana Dixon, editor-in-chief of DivaGalsDaily.com, coming to you from gray Grovetown, Georgia today.
And as you know, I'm Patricia Napier-Fitzpatrick, founding president of the Etiquette School of New York in Southampton and Manhattan. I'm delighted to be here today. It's a little gray here, but it's very pleasant. I'm also the author of Proper, Poised, and Polished, The Power of You, dedicated to all my nieces, my sisters, and all the women out there who want to become their personal best.
Wonderful. Hi, ladies.
Wonderful.
How are you? Welcome to this show. You all look fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As do you.
Thank you. Thank you. I must, before we start our Diva Shot, ladies, I must confess that I am very happy with our new president-elect and our VP, Madam Kamala Harris. What about you, Delana?
Well, of course, Kamala is one of my sorority sisters. We're both in Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we are just tickled pink and green that she is the first female, Black, South Asian, female again, vice president. You go.
Love it. Samantha, I know that you were very happy as well.
Yes, I am thrilled to have a woman in the White House. I am thrilled that she is from a diverse background, in a blended family, that it is a multi-religious tribe now in the White House. And I think that that is a big step towards tolerance, which is also a part of social grace. So I am just thrilled.
Yes. And I know, Patricia, that we shouldn't be speaking about politics because this is a no-no, but I want to acknowledge that. And now we are ready for our Diva Shot, right?
Yes.
So, Patricia, you have been featured in Business Week magazine, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the New York Post. Also, you have appeared on CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, Access Hollywood, and now Sexy is Timeless.
Yay!
Wow. So I am so impressed with you. So, and also you have written 4 books. What motivated you to be in the social graces and etiquette business, and how this passion came from?
It's been a passion my entire life, just being the best I could be and wanting everyone around me to be the best they could be. I grew up in West Virginia. It was neither north nor south, but we were very, especially my mother and father, I should say, we were very concerned, and we had to be in our best behavior and with manners. It was important there. An old-fashioned kind of upbringing, I would say, compared to now.
Did you go to the girls' school?
Yes, I went to a girls' school and boarding school in high school. It was the best experience ever. And I think I probably could never have made it through college if I hadn't. Because when you just have girls around you, you study more, you know?
And this comes from the family, or this is just something that you feel very passionate about it, that you decide to really educate yourself?
Yes, well, it started with family, and it was part of my upbringing, as I said. And then when I moved to New York and had my daughter, I stopped working. I was in marketing and in cosmetic and retail marketing. I stopped working. I started looking around. I was like, my goodness, I think they haven't had any etiquette classes here, you know. So I decided to start. I started with children, teaching children manners. And then I went to adults. So now I teach social etiquette and business protocol.
I
And
love it.
anything that concerns proper decorum, human behavior, relationships with people, I get asked questions about all of the issues, not just, you know, say please and thank you, which of course we should do. But yes, anything that makes life more pleasant, with people. And when people know what's expected of them and know what the rules are, then they are more confident as well.
That's right. And believe it or not, simple courtesy that we learn in kindergarten, like thank you and please, sometimes a lot of people forget that.
Yes, and even to our husbands, I sometimes say, oh, maybe I didn't say thank you enough. So I say thank you. He said, oh, well, you look...
That's
nice.
nice. So due to COVID-19, handshaking, you know, has been temporarily suspended. What are the new proper greetings? Because I totally don't like the elbow, hello. I don't know, I don't like that.
Well, the thing about the elbow is that we're getting closer than 6 feet to each other, right? So you can't social distance if you're doing the elbow bump. And I have seen world leaders do this, by the way. You know, they have their masks on and they're bumping elbows, and I'm like, or they don't have their mask on, worse, right? And they're bumping elbows. So there are a number of things we can do. You know, I recommend just a simple nod to acknowledge the person.
I like that.
Hello. Or you can put your hand on your chest as you say hello. Yes, this is a sign. This is actually a sign worldwide of I have good intentions. You know, I'm not carrying any weapons, which is what the handshake was about originally. That was what it was about, to show when you held your hand out to someone, I don't have any weapons. I come with good intentions.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah, so that's all there. So that, the other thing, another way you can greet people, which I've seen Prince Charles do and other noted people, is to put your hands together. Actually, I saw Macron do the French president also, and just you do this, you know, because again, you're putting your hands together and someone's not going to reach for it. Because I still see people, because we're so used to shaking hands, you'll see them like immediately start to, and they, oh no, you know, I'm not supposed to do that now. So this, if you are Indian, for instance, you can say namaste, but otherwise I would avoid saying it because it's a religious statement that doesn't apply to all religions. And then there's always the hello.
Hello.
That's my favorite.
Hi. So I think I like the nodding. I think I like this.
Yes.
Or like this. What about you ladies? What about you, Dilena? Which one do you like?
I will say our family, we do a lot of elbow, but we're around each other. There's no social distancing, so I don't know why we do it, but we do that. But I think I'm going to be the hey girl, like, hey girl, how you doing?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, just one thing about that. Don't do it in business.
Right.
At least not like that. Well, it depends on your business, I guess, you know. Hey girl, I would say, and or the royal wave, unless
The
you're
beauty queen. The beauty queen.
Samantha probably knows that, right? The royal wave.
Yes.
What about you, Samantha?
I like the hands together and a nod for formal, and I like the hand on my heart nod for informal.
Informal, yes. I like that. I like that. So Samantha, I know that you have some questions for Patricia as well.
Yes. So, you know, Patricia, I've had the great pleasure of working with you over the years for several projects, and I am so happy to hear about your latest book. Please tell us more about your latest book and what you would like your audience to get out of your book.
My book is an A to Z guide to being your personal best. So A, for instance, appearance, okay? And for every letter, there is an attribute or trait that will help us become our personal best. And there are quotes selected for each of the ones. Quotes from people as diverse as Winston Churchill to, rock stars. Anyone who said something that particularly appeals to me and I think is relevant. And then for each trait, I give you tips. I give tips for these, what we do to become our personal best. Our appearance, it's wonderful to be, perfect, but our appearance is much more than the way we look. It's also the way we hold ourselves.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Our body language, whether we smile. In fact, Audrey Hepburn said a smile is the most beautiful attribute of appearance of all.
That's
right?
Yes.
A smile.
Yes. So I have another question for you, Patricia, because we are living in very intense times.
Right.
And now more than ever, I think that the timelessly sexy assets of social graces and nice manners are more important than ever. Please, could you explain how this is true, why it is true, and give us some examples, like things that we can be aware of, let's say during the holidays that are upon us now, like not talking politics at the table.
I always say you can talk politics if you're with like-minded people.
Right.
But if there's one person out of 12 who is not like-minded, avoid the topic, because otherwise you have hurt feelings, right? And
Right.
it's very negative. So it's a very, very stressful time right now for everyone. So it's more important than ever to put yourself in the other person's shoes, be empathetic, be sympathetic, do what you can to help them if they need help. Go out of your way to be more polite than maybe you usually are. I know, living in New York, I'm sure I'm guilty of it too, just rushing down the street, not even like looking left or right necessarily. But of course, I'm walking on the right side of the sidewalk, which is one of those etiquette rules that a lot of people don't know.
Yes.
And if someone, right now I have two little dogs that I walk every day. And if I'm walking down the sidewalk and someone is coming with a stroller on that same sidewalk, which is very narrow here, not like the city, where they're very wide, I'll take the girls to the street to get out of that person's way. And I would also I recommend that that person say thank you. I always say thank you when someone gets out of my way, right? So if you can be more considerate and think of the other person and put them first, I think that would be a good thing to do right now. And one thing, though, I will tell you one thing that we're used to having, I sometimes think I have like etiquette on my forehead because I feel like people are very polite, even though you hear they're not in New York. So men are used to opening the doors for women, right? At least they seem to be, mostly around me. Now they're getting too close to us if they open the door.
They're getting too close?
Yes. Imagine they're holding the door open and you have to go right by them. So that's something that they really shouldn't be doing now. So there are certain rules that they used to do.
Oh no, are we going to miss that too?
I know, it's confusing, isn't it? Some of these things are confusing. So I would just say be a little more aware of other people and not just yourself.
Okay, but this is because of the pandemic, but
oh, absolutely.
I the gentleman to open the door.
Well, your husband can certainly open the door for you, and one would hope he would, but I'm just saying some stranger at the coffee shop that you don't know at Starbucks, shouldn't stand there holding it open for you while you walk right past him to go in.
Yes, due to the pandemic, but I must confess that I do appreciate sometimes anybody who opened the door. And I do have that as well, Patricia. I think that people are very nice to me as well, and they open the door for me. And I think that is the way that you carry yourself, you present yourself. And I think it's a subliminal message that we send, right? With our body.
Right. So and of course, when anyone does something for us, we say thank you.
Exactly.
Right? If someone makes room for me or opens a door, I say thank you. That bothers me when people don't acknowledge the person doing a favor for them.
Acknowledgement is so important. Yes.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Yes, yes. And Dilena, darling, I know that you have some questions as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Everybody's trying to learn etiquette, but there's probably that one mistake that people keep making over and over. What is it that you've seen just repeatedly over the last 30 years of your career?
As you say that, the first thing that popped into my mind was when you're introduced to someone and they say, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you," and you, well, we met before. This isn't the first time.
Sometimes that happens to me. I forgot of the person.
Yes. So what you say, what I recommend to my client to say is that it's so nice to see you this evening. Or it's so nice to see you, as opposed to it's nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's nice to see you this evening. Yes.
It's nice to see you. Exactly. And then, certainly in business there, so like spelling someone's name wrong, we're in, I call it a United Nations world, right? Wherever you are. So there are lots of spellings that aren't common to us. So we have to make sure we triple check. I do sometimes to make sure I spell a person's name the right way. And it would be nice if everyone could make introductions the proper way, but even
what
better,
is the proper way?
Well, let me just say, but even better than that is to introduce people, period. Oh, yeah. So, right, so they don't feel left out. So if you're having a conversation with someone and someone walks up who doesn't know the person you're talking to and you know both, it's your obligation to introduce them instead of just leaving them stand there.
That's right.
So
I do.
Yeah. That's right. So, it's always in social, it's always the woman before the man, unless the man is much older, in which case you would say his name first.
Yes.
And in business and in international relationships, it is, or travel, or I should say, it is always the most important person's name first, whether it's a man or woman.
It's a lot of rules.
And what about our Dilena here? Is this our single girl here? So Dilena has some question about the single dating.
Yeah, so of course we're still dealing with COVID and we're trying to date in this kind of environment.
Right.
What are the etiquette rules about dating, in general, and then of course dealing with COVID?
Right. Well, dating in general is, there are rules. Manners are about being kind, considerate, respectful. They're timeless, right? Yes. Etiquette evolves to adapt to the times.
Timeless.
Yes. So rules for dating have changed completely in the last, let's say, 30 years. Okay. Really 40 years ago, there were a very small percentage of women were even working in the United States. Well, now women are working just as much as men are working, and many women make more than men are making. Right. So a woman doesn't have to wait for a man to ask her out now. Okay, that's right. And a woman should not expect for a man, and it's not expected, period, for him to pay for everything. Now, if the couple decides that he will pay for everything, then that's fine. But there's no set rule now about that. Should you find the man you want to marry in 90 days, it's not a given now that the bride's family pays for the wedding. Right. So wedding rules. Wedding etiquette is not my expertise by a long shot. Occasionally I get asked questions and I'll know the answers, but it changes. It's changing so rapidly. The rules for wedding etiquette.
Yes, having just gotten married, I went through all of that, and it's quite something.
Right. Well, I recommend Peggy Post has a great book on wedding etiquette.
Yes, she does. She does.
Patricia, I just wanted to be clear about the dating.
Yes.
So there is no clear. So it is about what the girl likes and what the girl wants. Like if she wants to share, the expenses, that is okay. But if she doesn't want and the guy wants, so that's not the man for her.
Right. That's how I feel, because, some men, in my classes, because I have an all-day finishing school, and I teach social etiquette and business protocol. And many men have said, well, she won't let me pay. I wanted to pay, she wouldn't let me. Okay. So women want to take care of themselves. So they decide that's how their relationship will be. But on the very first date, if he asks her out, I believe he should pay for that date.
Yeah.
And
Because
then
he did
after
the inviting.
yes, and then after that, they can decide how they want their relationship to be. But many couples now are 50-50. Everything is split 50-50. But that's once they're together and like either living together or married.
So, Patricia, is chivalry dead?
Chivalry, I don't think chivalry's dead. It's maybe dormant in many cases. And you
I
know,
don't want to believe that chivalry is dead.
well, no,
That'd
and
be
the
too
younger
sad.
generation, yeah, the younger generation is not as, let's say, concerned about it, but that really depends upon where you live in the United States or in the world, period. I have a nephew, actually he's not a nephew, we decide, I'm you know, he's my grand cousin, or my third cousin or something. At any rate, we were talking, he's 21 years old, he's in college, he's in Kentucky. He said the girl still wants him to pay, and he wants to pay. The girls there still want to be asked out. All right. So in New York, I would say it's probably totally different. I mean, in many cases, but not, you can't, everyone is like that.
Well, I'll tell you what rule I follow. If you
Yes.
ask me out, I do expect you to pay because you set up the date and that's the case.
Right.
And then usually for every 3 to 4 dates, I'll either do something nice for them, like I would cook, or I would pay, but I would make sure it was something less. Like I'd be like, so if we go out for coffee and it's like the 4th date, I'd be like, oh, let me pick up the check.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I navigate
Well,
it.
I think that's just perfect because you don't want him to think that, you know, you're taking advantage of him, so to speak, right? And it should be a bit reciprocal. If you don't have the money to pay for an expensive dinner, yes, cook for him or go for a picnic. So the relationship should be reciprocal. He does this, you do this.
So ladies, what, very quick, because we are almost out of time, what are some protocols, Patricia, they are out of style? 2, that they are just out of style, and 2, that shouldn't be out of style.
Right. Well, a couple of things. I've mentioned a few too about the dating rules, but when this was always a rule until I don't know how many years ago, but until recently, that whenever a woman walked into the room, let's say a living room, and there would be all the men would stand up. Okay, for her.
I like that. Please,
yes.
The queen arrive.
and greet her, right? Well, that isn't done anymore.
I know.
mean, not usually. See, it's hard to say never, but
it's done in my family. The men in my family do that.
Okay, so
Some men do that.
Right.
I applaud the gentlemen out there. We love gentlemen. What is another one? Very quick.
Yes, okay, so very quick, a man does not have to let the lady get into the back seat first before he gets in. Okay, now a lot of people don't know that. The men used to get in first because a woman would be wearing this big bustly dress, that's probably not the right way to say it, and she would get it all messed up. And she wouldn't want to scoot across the seat. So now that women are wearing pants for the most part, you know, it doesn't matter. It's based on practicality, whether who's there, who should get in first. But I still think he should open the door, but he doesn't necessarily have to always open the door for her.
Okay, well, very quick, one last question.
Yes.
You know, with the professionals, what the professional need to know right now so they can be able to polish, you know, themselves and be successful? Like 2 things that you need to tell right now to our students. Okay,
number 1, just because you're having an interview virtually does not mean you should not dress for the interview. Okay, dress for the interview. Do not go there in a t-shirt and no pants. Even if they don't see your pants, you know you're wearing them, okay? And sit up straight, no slouching. Do learn how the camera should work so that you can make that, because you cannot, once you've made a bad first impression, you won't get a chance probably to even get a second interview. And be careful of your speech. That's another big thing. No, you know, the grammar, speak up, no yell and sloppy words, no, just, you know, be articulate, It's really, the interviews virtually should be the same as the interviews in person. All the things.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. And you know, a lot of people think it's not, but I do agree. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We are over time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do we have any quick birthday, Samantha, Dilena?
Yes, I want to wish a very happy birthday to Aunt Helen Dean. She is in her fabulous 70s. It's her birthday this month, so we just want to give you much, much love. Happy birthday, Aunt
Happy
Helen.
birthday! Sexy is timeless. 70 totally is timeless. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. You know, many people confuse social graces and etiquette by being stuffy and unapproachable. That is not true. Social graces is just about being kind, respectful, and considerate to others. Be kind to yourself and others. Besitos.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.